On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Knoll, in the heat of the day, the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying a jungle's great day, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise.
So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound.
That's funny. There's no one around.
Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were yelling for help.
I'll help you, but who are you? Where?
He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there, but a small speck of dust blowing passed through the air.
Must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of a creature of very small size. Too small to be seen by an elephant's eyes. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll be blown in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him, because after all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air. And he lifted the dust speck and carried it over, and placed it down safe on a very soft clover.
'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said,
Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been.
Believe me, I tell you sincerely, but my ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there. And what's more, quite likely that there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely a family for all that we know. A family with children just starting to grow. So please, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be.
I think you're a fool.
Me too. You're the biggest blamed fool in the jungle of Knoll.
And the kangaroos plunged into the cool of the pool.
I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they.
So he plucked up the clover and hustled away.
Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on the flower. And Horton walked worrying almost an hour.
Should I put this speck down?
Horton thought with alarm.
If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't, and I won't. After all, a person's a person, no matter how small.
Then Horton stopped walking. The squeaked voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it.
Speak up. Please.
My friend, you're very much a friend. You helped all us folks on this speck with no end. You saved our city, our houses and our floors. You saved our churches and our grocery stores.
You mean you have buildings there too?
Yes, we certainly do. While I'm too small to be seen, I run a town that is friendly and clean. Well, to you, our houses may seem very small. To us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. You see, my town is Whoville, and I am a Who, and I am a Who is grateful to you.
You're safe now, don't worry. I won't let you down.
But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck.
They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to the black-bottomed eagle named Vladikov, a mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing.
And before the poor elephant even could speak, the eagle flew off with a flower in his beak.
Late afternoon, and all through the light, the black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged,
Please don't harm all my little folks, who have as much a right to live as us bigger folks do.
But far, far behind him, that eagle kept flapping and over his shoulder called back,
Quit your yapping. I'll fly the night through. I'm a bird, I don't mind it. I'll hide this tomorrow and you'll never find it.
And at 6:56 that morning, he did it. It sure was a terrible place that he hid it. He let the small clover drop inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide.
Find that! But I think you'll fail. And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail.
I'll find it. I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on that small speck of dust.
And clover by clover by clover with care picked up and searched them and called.
Are you there?
But clover by clover by clover he found that the one that he sought for was just not around. By noon poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had pick searched and piled up 9,005.
Then, on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found at last on the 3 millionth flower.
My friends, do tell me, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?
From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor.
We really had trouble, much more than our share. When the black-bottomed bird let us go and we dropped, we felt so hot that all our clocks had stopped. Our teapots were shattered, our rocking chairs smashed, all of the tires on our bikes had popped when we crashed. Oh, Horton, please, Horton, will you say about us suicide or making repairs?
For almost 2 days, you've run wild and insisting on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carry-ons in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle, and I'm here to state that your silly, non-sequential game is all through.
Me too.
With the help of the Wickersham brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for you dust speck, that we shall boil in a hot, steaming kettle of bezelnut oil.
Boil it? Oh, that you can't do. It's all full of persons, they'll prove it to you. Mr. Mayor! Mr. Mayor! Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you're really there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out. Make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in beezy nut stew.
And down on the dust speck, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in the Whoville Town Square, and his people cried loudly. They cried out in fear.
We are here. 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 We are here.
That was clear. You kangaroos sure heard that very well.
All I heard was the breeze and the faint sound of the wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either.
Me neither.
Grab him and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of the rope.
Tie the knot so he'll never get loose, and then dunk that dumb speck in the bezelnut juice.
Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They bet him, they mauled him, they hauled him into his cage, but he managed to call the mayor.
Don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. So come on now and try.
All over Whoville, they whooped up rackets. They rattled in kettles, they beat on brass pans and garbage pails and tops and old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great tunes on clarinets, opans and bullpans and flutes.
Great guess a loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky. And the mayor called up through the howling mad hullabaloo.
Horton! How's this? Is sound coming through?
I can hear you just fine, but kangaroo's ears aren't as strong, quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you all sure your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick! Look for your own! Is there anyone shirking?
Through the town rushed the mayor, from east to west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it...
And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered a shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax apartments of apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp, and the mayor rushed in and grabbed the young twerp.
And he climbed with the lad up to Eiffelberg Tower.
This is our town's darkest hour. This is the time for every whose blood is red to bring aid to our country. We've got to make noise in larger amounts. That means open up your mouth, lad, for every voice counts.
Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted, "Yeah, yeah, yeah!"
And that yop, that one small extra yop put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled.
Do you see what I mean? They proved they are persons. no matter how small, and their whole world was saved by the smallest of all.
How true, yes. How true, and from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you.
Me too. From sun in the summer to rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them no matter how smallish.